Good morning, everybody, and thank you, Chair Larson, for holding this important hearing today. And thank you to all of the witnesses for testifying and being here in what I did not anticipate being a hostile witness situation. Y'all, my district is home to Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, our nation's busiest and most efficient airport. Many of the people that you'll see working there are my constituents. And these folks help so many of us like me get to work every week here in DC and help us travel across our country and our world. And they prioritize passenger safety in their work every single day. It's personal to me that here in Congress that we prioritize their safety as well. I'm dedicated to protecting my constituents from verbal and physical abuse and disruption as they continue to do their jobs and serve our travelers. Today's hearing will help us best prevent and respond to rising cases of air rage. Ms. Nelson, Chair DeFazio touched on this earlier, but I want to go deeper into this conversation. In your testimony, you mentioned an abusive passenger can be banned from one airline, but can then jump on another carrier. You also recommend creating a database for airlines to share information that would prevent this. So could you go into detail on what obstacles currently exist for this kind of information sharing across airlines and tell us any specific recommendations for Congress or regulators to help remove the barriers to information sharing that would benefit airports, airlines, workers, and passengers alike?
Thank you very much for that question. Yes, we had an incident where one regional carrier was providing service for a mainline carrier. So this was not this in the passenger's eyes was the same airline actually. And an incident occurred on board a flight, attacked a crew. The passenger was banned from that airline after the fact, but the passenger got off the flight, went on to their next flight, and continued to be a problem on the next flight, performing for a different carrier. So if we simply have a coordination that can be coordinated from the FAA, Chairman DeFazio was referring to this earlier, there are potentially some issues to work through in terms of how this information is shared. It is my understanding that through the contract of carriage, the airlines already have the ability to share this for safety reasons. And there could be a coordination through the FAA where airlines are in real time sharing that information about problem passengers so that other airlines can be flagged, and that can be flagged in their system so that they can identify that and assess the conditions and take appropriate actions at their airline as well.
Thank you, Ms. Nelson. You also mentioned in your testimony that 71% of flight attendants who filed incident reports did not get follow-up. Could you provide some best practices for a process of following up on incident reports and how important it is that this kind of process not only address the incident itself, but also ensure that workers know that steps are being taken for their safety?
Yes, thank you very much for that question. I do not believe that it means that 71% of the time that the airlines are not taking action. The importance of following back up with crew to let them know that action was taken is very important for backup of that crew, because the next time they go to their flight and they are abused or attacked or experience another one of these incidents, they are less likely, if they believe that nothing is going to happen, to report it. So we have a break in the safety chain there. And then also, it is possible that they are hesitant to even take action to enforce safety compliance, which leads to an unsafe condition because they don't believe that they have that backup. So simply having the staff, and I will say this is a challenge in this era of coronavirus, everyone has cut back, but having a process at each airline where there is a simple follow-up to those reports that they have been received, they are being acted on. In not every case can the flight attendants be given all the actions that are taken, but letting them know that their report was received and being acted on is going to help facilitate better safety on board, because that crew member then goes back to do their job as they're required to do and doesn't have any hesitancy in doing it.
Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Andrews, for sharing your testimony today. Thank you especially for sharing